Unity without uniformity. Oh, I just love that. I even use that as a subtitle to a book. Tell us
Nice.
a little bit more about your thoughts on unity without uniformity, Paul Smit.
Well, one of the first things that come to mind that's so important is you as an individual are so important. And a lot of people discount this. A lot of people lose sight of their own personal worth.
Yeah.
And it's very simple to do. In simplicity, what it means is that everyone gets distracted with the outside reality. In other words, everything that's outside of themselves, and place a lot of attention there, that they discount themselves and over time feel unimportant. And what's really good to understand about this is that your emotions come through for good reason.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're having a negative emotion, sometimes that negative emotion is about how you as an individual perceive stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes an individual questions their own worth. In fact, quite often people question their own worth. I'm not good enough. I can't do this. I need help. You know, they don't realize that they are the power.
Yeah.
In fact, the power of everything in one story begins with oneself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really important to remember who you are. And as a quick reminder of that is you're unique. There is no other Paul Smit. There is no other Linda. We bring to this world our personality, our personal perspective on life, which comes from all the personal experiences that we've had. And no other person can do that. No other person looks at something in that exact same way.
Right.
And so each person is significant. Each person is important. And what does that mean? It means you add your flavor to life.
Mm-hmm.
It's your flavor to life. Life, if it doesn't have that component, is actually losing out, because no matter what you think your perspective is, it adds into everything that there is, and it's so important to understand that the way you perceive life is important. That's why you know, in a lot of the conversations we've been talking about personal preference. That place of personal preference comes from who you are.
Yep. Absolutely.
So you know, people don't really consider the choices that they're making. And one of the which brings me to the second point is one of the things that I teach a lot of people when making a choice is to ask two simple questions. Does this add value to who I am, or does it take away from who I am?
Love it.
And that's really important, because if you are looking at something that may take away, why focus your attention there? If it's going to evidently take away from you, why are you doing it?
Mm-hmm.
And are you doing it the right way? In other words, this comes back to our other conversation, which is, are you just looking at problem, or are you looking for a solution? And there's two differences between that.
Yeah.
So what you do, choices that you make, add value to who you are. So it's important to make choices that you know are going to take you a step further on that evolutionary scale. Right. And that can be problem solving, because, you know, we're human, we live in life, complicated things happen, and we need to make choices about it. But let's make choices that add value to who we are, so that when we step out of it after that taxing period of trying to solve something, that we say, wow, I'm a better person for this.
Yep.
I've made some informed choices, and it's added value to who I am, and I'm ready for the next stage. You see the difference? It gives you that burst of energy, which says, I can. And what happens is, if your worth is low, well, how are you going to be making informed choices? How are you going to be looking at choices that add value to you? Right. You won't, because your energy levels are so low because your worth is so low, and the negative emotions that are inside of you are taking away the energy that you could potentially use.
Right.
So it's really counterproductive.
Yeah, and you can't even ask questions in the positive, right?
Yeah.
You probably won't ask questions because you're not going to be making informed choices, and the way to get informed is ask the questions, even if they seem silly to you. No question's ever a silly or stupid question. Questions are just questions, right? And the
Correct.
questions inform, and information and knowledge, power.
Correct. Correct. And this is where, again, that principle of allowing steps in, because what you want to do is you want to find harmony in diversity.
Yeah. Ooh.
And so a lot of people are going to hit a brick wall with this one, because how do I find harmony in somebody or something that's so destructive? And like I said previously, it's not about the subject matter. In other words, it could be something destructive or someone destructive around you.
Right.
And so what you need to do is you need to look at your preferences again. And in case of looking for harmony, it may be, well, this is something I can't do a lot about. This hinges on somebody else's free will. So my choice is not to focus on that. My choice is to focus on what it is I prefer. So that is a choice. That is a choice which takes you away from the destructive behavior. It places you in a completely different field.
Yeah.
And so you are finding harmony and diversity. We must realize that the world, and this is where people get it so wrong, the world is actually the sum of all that's good and the sum of all that's bad. And that changes per each person's personality or way of looking at life. So we can't come along to somebody else and say, oh, why are you looking there? They might have a passion to look there. There might be a reason for them to look there. There might be something in their life that they're trying to solve, and that's the way that they decided to focus on it to solve it. And that's not up to us to make the choice. So to find harmony and diversity is to make clear and precise choices about what you're going to give your focused attention to.
Wow. And
I mean, that's big.
it is big, and then it takes you kind of to that next step of allowing, right?
That's right.
Find harmony and diversity, then it's about allowing yourself to be yourself, figuring that out, right? Who am I? And then allowing people to be on that journey of figuring out who they are, and letting them do their own research and be able to be comfortable with that. And we're never comfortable with other people when we're not comfortable with ourselves. Do you agree?
I agree. And there's a saying that I have is the world responds according to how you feel. So you might mask that with a happy face. In other words, I'm all happy, everything's fine. But vibrationally, you might not be feeling that. And what actually happens is people are reading that vibration even if they're unaware of it.
Yep.
And it comes into their choice making.
Yeah. You know,
Also,
I was going to say, I'm from Minnesota, where it gets super cold. You can totally see the car exhaust. And that's what that reminds me of, is just a car going down the street or a car sitting in the parking lot. We don't see the so-called vibration, right? We don't see the exhaust. Same idea, seeing someone's vibration, seeing the exhaust, right? So that vibration, that like, oh, I'm happy, and we're really running the exhaust of, no, I'm not. It's people are seeing our exhaust.
That's right.
Yeah, that's very cool. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Anything else you wanted to add here?
That pretty much covers that section. And that's a big section. There's a lot in there.
Yeah, it's really juicy. Thank you so much.